Why the Financial Data Space and the Artificial Intelligence Act in the European Union are interlinked? Well, I'm Oscar Borgogno. I'm a research officer at the Central Bank of Italy and senior fellow at the George Washington University in DC. And I'm trying to answer this question by looking at my latest research output on the matter. Together with many of my colleagues, we are working on the interaction between financial stability, competition dynamic in the digital environment, and artificial intelligence. Two pieces of regulation in the European Union really came to our attention over the last years, and I'm referring to the regulatory strategy involving open banking and open finance, which led in the financial environment to the so-called European Financial Data Space, which is actually in the making by the European Commission and many other stakeholders. And on the other side, to the Artificial Intelligence Act, recently enacted by the European Union, which will fully apply by 2 August 2026. And from our perspective, what's really interesting is to engage the complementarity between these two pieces of regulation in order to explore how to enable safe and rights compliant innovation in the European Union and in the European market. And what's really interesting is to check how the European financial data space and overall the European single market for data can actually provide a magnificent input and resource for enabling artificial intelligence development and innovation in the European Union. And with this research, we really much want to challenge the narrative against the EU regulation that might only be an hindrance to innovation and to companies both out of the European Union and from the European Union to move forward innovation by using artificial intelligence in the digital economy. And indeed, we explore a specific regulatory instrument that has been proposed, has been enshrined in the Artificial Intelligence Act, which is the AI Act regulatory sandbox, in order to enable a better use of the data collected by means of the European financial data space. But now, by looking at the regulation enacted with the Payment Service Directive 2 and the Financial Access Regulation proposal put forward by the European Commission, we are really witnessing to a regulatory environment that will enable a safe data sharing between consumers and financial service providers in order to provide better services, tailored products to users in the digital economy. At the same time, this will enable many private players to gather huge amount of data about the behaviors of individuals in their daily life. All such data most of the time are personal data, and they need to comply with all data protection regulation, which in Europe are covered mainly by the General Data Protection Regulation. Of course, in order to get access to that data, you need consent by the individuals involved and directly linked to such data. On the other side, if we want to move forward AI innovation, and in particular the secondary training of AI models and the development of artificial intelligence model tailored to the needs of a specific industry, we might need access to non-publicly available data that most of the time involve financial information, health information, public procurement information, and so on and so forth. And all these data are covered by the Data Space Initiative by the European Commission, which is trying to make the safe and easy data sharing in all these sectors working and well functioning. Indeed, if this plays out to work well and effectively, will provide a huge amounts of, at the moment, not publicly available data for AI training and development. And this is really where things get interesting, because by using the AI Act regulatory sandbox at the Article 59, where basically public authority and supervisor in charge of the implementation of the AI Act will be in the position to supervise the use of data collected, of personal data collected for other purposes in order for the training and development of AI model, once it is proved that all these actions are needed to safeguard a substantial public policy interest. Well, in the research we have been doing, we explore whether financial stability may amount to a substantial public policy interest able to justify the reliance on Article 59 and the AI Act regulatory sandbox in order to use the personal data collected by means of the financial data space in order to enable financial supervisors and central banks all over European Union in order to come up with better model to understand how economies is evolving and how new threats to the financial stability may come up in the near future in order to tackle them in a sensitive fashion. And we are of the idea that this research may actually show how the interaction between different pieces of regulation put forward by the European Union may actually enable innovation and cooperation at the EU level in order to put to good use personal data for AI training in a way that complies in a fully fashion with the General Data Protection Regulation.